Hello, it is me. It is I. Hi. Today we have a book haul. And you guys might be asking,
Wendy, didn't you just do a book haul?
and to which I say, mind your business. Because yes, okay? But that was the holidays. So a lot of those were gifts. And these books, 99% of them I bought. Anyways, you guys, hello, hi. My name is Ivy. I am a geek and I like to make bookish videos. Today, obviously, we have another book haul, the second one of 2024. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we have books from multiple places. We have books that I bought on Amazon. We have books that I bought at Barnes & Noble. We have books that I got on Pango Books again. And we have books that I actually thrifted. I've never went book thrifting before, like at a thrift store. But I actually did this time and I found a few good books. Let's start off with the books that I got on Amazon. So the first book that I got is a book that I've honestly been wanting to read since 2022, and that is Meet Me in Another Life. I have said this before. I am a sucker for time slips, time loops, parallel universes, / like reincarnation, you know, like things like that. And in this book, we basically get that. We have our two characters, Thora and Santi. Now, Thora and Santi, they meet in one lifetime and they realize, like, hey, I've met you before. And then we just see them throughout different lifetimes where they meet each other. You know, they are a patient and their doctor. They are lovers. They are a flight attendant and a passenger. And pretty soon, over multiple lifetimes, they start to realize we know each other. Like, what is going on? Like, we've met in another life. And then they slowly start to, like, realize that they've been reincarnating over and over and over again. And it just looks so good. Okay, like, this has been on my TBR for a couple years now, like 3 years now, right? 2022. Oh my gosh, 2022 feels so... Oh, it's 3 years ago? No, it's 2 years ago. What is wrong with me? Math. Not my strongest subject.
Duh.
So it looks so good. It's not too big, honestly. It's pretty tiny. As you can see, it's a pretty tiny book. It's not a big one. And it looks so good. And it was on sale for like $7. And I was like, all right. Now's the time to get it. The next book that I want to talk to you guys about is this one. This is Forged in Frost. Now, in my previous haul video, I hauled the first book in the series, which is called like Promised by Fire, and the third book in the series because my fiance gifted it to me for Christmas, not knowing that it's the third book. So I was like, okay, I have the first one, I have the third one, now I have to buy the second one. So this is number 2, Forged in Frost, and now I have no excuse to not read this whole completed trilogy, because this is a completed trilogy. This is a fantasy romance new adult series which features a main character that has like, or she's like a high fae or a fae that has like water powers, but she doesn't know how to control them, so she awakens this like dragon or something like that, and then I think it's like their love story. But I often saw this author Jasmine Walt's work on like popped up as a Facebook ad as like, you enjoyed Fourth Wing, now read this. And because of that, I was like, all right, I liked Fourth Wing. I want to read about more dragons, sure. And I picked this one up. Now, the next book that we're going to talk about, this is the only nonfiction that I have, and that is Set Boundaries, Find Peace, A Guide to Reclaiming Yourself by Nedra Glover Tawwab. So this one I got for my fiance, but I obviously do want to read this as well. This is all about like setting boundaries, just because I have this tendency to not know when to say no. you know, not know how to set boundaries because I'm very like worried about like offending people, and this teaches you how to set your own boundaries in a very healthy way. And I have to read this. This is a definite, because I am such a people pleaser, this is something that I definitely want to read. So the next book that we got is Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. Yes, you guys know, as soon as I finished Emily Wilde, I pre-ordered the second book because Emily Wilde was like one of my top books of 2023. I loved it. Cozy fantasy is just like my shiznit now. I love cozy fantasy. Cozy fantasy so far has not disappointed me. And in this series, we follow our main character. Her name is Emily Wilde, and she is a curmudgeon professor who basically studies fairies and fae, and fairies obviously are real in this universe. And she goes to this town where she tries to find these fairies that a lot of people have, that nobody has really found, and they're called the Hidden Ones. So obviously they're hidden. And she wants to write about them because it will complete her encyclopedia that she wants to write about fairies. And she likes to be alone. You know, it's just her and her little companion. I think what's his name? I think it's Shadow. And she has this like arch nemesis that she doesn't like, but he loves her. You know, like he's like, oh, you're my bestie. And she's like, I don't even like you. And then he's like, no, I'm your bestie too. And he follows her to this like realm, and then they have to work together because his work is more appraised and he's more famous than she is. So he's like, hey, I can help you. You can take all the credit. That's fine. Just like, let me come with you. Let me chillax here. And together, let's learn about these like hidden ones. And so they work together. She's like, oh, fine, you know, because she needs, you know, it's gonna get her encyclopedia more out there if she has his help. So they work together, and it's just so good. Okay, it's just so good. And this is book 2 to that series, and I'm so excited to read this. It follows that same sort of style that the first book cover has, and these covers are just so gorgeous. Like, I feel like it just looks like a beautiful like gardening book, you know, and it makes me feel like I'm a gardener or something. Now, the next book that I'm going to haul is, in the last book haul video, I hauled the first volume of this one. Now this is the second volume, so I hauled Blood in the Tracks volume 1. This is volume 2. In this book series, or this manga series, we follow our two characters. We follow our main character, this like child, this like preteen, and we follow his very like overprotecting mom, that there's something just like off and like weird about her. And towards the end of the manga, she does something very horrible and like horrendous, and basically everything that everybody said about his mom, he's starting to now believe, because he saw his mom do something that's just like unforgivable, you know. And so now he's coping with that, and in this book, I'm assuming, or this manga, I'm assuming we're following what happens after all that, and it's just, I'm excited. Now, the next books that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to talk about them together because they're a duology, and this is going to be my like only YA books on here, I want to say. I think I have like a manga that's like considered YA, but other than that, this is the only one, and that is the Divine Rivals duology. Yeah, so we have Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross and Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. Now, this is not something that I was considering to read, but my friend gifted me this, and honestly, I'm excited now, okay? Because even though it is YA, it is a fantasy, it's like a historical fantasy that's like kind of like loosely based off of World War II, but they make it like fantasy. And she said that she really enjoyed it. She highly recommended it. So because she got me the first one, I obviously had to buy the second one. And I think later on in the year, I think like sometime in like July or August, I'm going to be doing a Rebecca Ross worth the hype, where I will be reading this duology and her adult duology, which is like the River Enchanted and the Endless Fire or something like that, because I have those two books as well. So I'm excited for that. The next book that we're going to talk about, these are the books that I got from Pango Books, which is like where you can buy used books. You can sell your own books and you can either get cash for them or you can trade them in for new books. Basically, you get like Pango bucks that you can turn around and get like different books for. So I usually just end up swapping my books out for new books that I want to read. The next book that I have is A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. And obviously this is a big one, okay? This is huge. Now, you guys probably know its sister, The Priory of the Orange Tree. That is technically the first book in the series, and this is technically the prequel, but I heard that you can read it either way. I'll just read you the synopsis. It says, Tanuva Mellon is a sister of the Priory. For 50 years, she has trained to slay worms, but none have appeared since the Nameless One, and the younger generation is starting to question the Priory's purpose. So that's what it's about. There's dragons, but I heard there's not too many dragons. I think this one is the one that has more dragons than the Priory of an Orange Tree. But I know it's a hefty one, but it has so many good reviews, and because I really liked Fourth Wing, I just want to start to read more books with dragons in them, just because I really enjoyed dragons. Now, the next manga that we have is My Summer of You, and this is volume 1 by Nagisa Furuya. And I think this is a love story between these two like high school students. Yeah, two high school students. And I think there's like drama in it, so it's a very much like slice of life manga, and I love slice of life mangas, okay? I love them. I eat them up. So I think I'm really gonna enjoy this one. I don't know who I saw on YouTube talk about this one. They said it was really good. So I'm excited. All right, so the daylight is leaving me. So hopefully this lighting is okay. I don't want to turn on my like room light because it's like too yellow. And I don't like that look. So we'll see how this goes. So the next book that I got is The Hol Places by T. Kingfisher, because during the month of October, I want to do a Is T. Kingfisher Worth It vlog where I read a few of T. Kingfisher's books to decide if this author is really worth it or not for me. And these are one of the books that I want to read from them. Now, Riley Marie, which is a YouTuber that I watch a lot, she loves this book so much. This basically follows a wall, I believe, that kind of opens up. And in this wall, if you go through it, it leads you to like this creepy sort of universe that's like just terrifying. And it's a place that you just like definitely don't want to go to. And I heard that it's creepy, that it's scary, that it's eerie. And I love that. I love that. T. Kingfisher writes quite a few horror books. So I'm very, very interested to see what they're all about. The next book that I got is The Bone Char Daughter by Andrea Stewart. Now this one I actually don't know what this is about at all. I don't have any idea. I don't have any idea what this is about. But I know it's a fantasy, and I think it's an adult fantasy, and it looks good. I mean, the cover looks good. I haven't heard anybody talk about this. But it looks good, right? And the last but certainly not least book that I got from Pango Books is this one. This is Age of Myth by Michael J. Sullivan. Now, if you guys watched my last book haul video, I bought this book as a paperback, not knowing that I had got the mass market paperback. And I hate like mass market paperbacks. Like the writing is just so tiny, and like I'm already blind as it is, you know, like I just can't do mass market paperbacks. So I even said in that in that book haul, like I think I'm just gonna sell this and get the hardcover instead. And that is exactly what I did. I got the hardcover because I can't do mass market paperbacks. We basically follow these people who worship these gods, right? And they are obviously treated beneath the gods. The gods are like superior. And then a human ends up killing a god. And then the humans realize, hey, these people can die. They're not gods at all. And thus we enter this huge war that goes on for generations to come. And that is what this whole series is about. And it looks so good. Like I said, I am in my like high fantasy era, and I just want to read fantasy. So now let's get into the books that I thrifted, and then we'll get into the Barnes & Noble books, because I'm actually still waiting for my package to come in, and it's been saying that it's gonna come in, and like it hasn't. Anyways, let's talk about the books that I thrifted. Now the first book, this is a book that has been on my TBR for a very, very long time, and then I took it off because I was like, I don't think I'm gonna read this book, I'm not gonna find it. And then guess what? I found it. It is Darkly Dreaming Dexter by Jeff Lindsay, and this is the book that inspired the Dexter series, TV show series, and that is a series that I really loved, okay? We loved Dexter here. We really enjoyed this series, and this is basically, if you guys don't know, this is following a blood splatter analysis. So he works for the police department. I believe it's not the FBI. He works for the police department as a blood splatter analyst, but when he is off work, all the crooks and the murderers that end up getting off the hook, he goes back and he murders them. So he is a serial unaliver, and he only unalives other people that unalive people. Show is really good, so I have no doubt in my mind that this book is going to be really good at it as well, and it's really tiny. The next book that I got is HeartShaped Box by Joe Hill. Now, once upon a time, I posted on Facebook, hey, give me the scariest books you've ever read. And somebody said, a lot of people actually said HeartShaped Box, that this one's just like really dark and disturbing and scary. And I don't know what this is about, but I know Joe Hill writes a lot of horror, so I really want to read this one. And then lastly, but certainly not least, we have The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. I think this is a sci-fi. This is another one that I don't really know what it's about, but I have read another book by N.K. Jemisin, and it was a collection of short story that I think it was called like How Long Till Future Black Month or something like that. Something like that. It was called something like that. And I really enjoyed, I mean, I didn't love every short story, but for the majority, I did really enjoy a lot of her short stories. And in one of them, she talked about a city, and it ended up becoming this story that she made into like a full-length novel. I really liked that story specifically, so I know that I'm going to love this. N.K. Jemisin is a stunning, amazing author, and I know she's even like won the Hugo Award for the 5th season series, so I have no doubt in my mind that I'm really going to love this. Alright, so now let's move on to my final books that I got from Barnes & Noble, because my package finally came in. My package just came in. Okay, so although we have Yes? Oh, it's you. My dog just came in. So let's move on to my last set of books that I got from Barnes & Noble. I have officially run out of Sunlight, but my package did just come in from Barnes & Noble. So let's continue with the books. The first book that I got is What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. This is another T. Kingfisher book. T. Kingfisher book that I got. This is another horror book that they have written. And it just, okay, the cover looks creepy, okay? And I don't know what this is about, but I heard that it was good. And T. Kingfisher's books tend to be really small. They tend to all be really small. I think the Hol Places is like the only book so far that I got by them that isn't so tiny. I'm excited for this. The next book that I got was Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson, and this is, yes, this is for a vlog. So in February, I want to come out with a video where I want to do this a lot throughout the year, where I try new authors for the first time and I decide if they are worth the hype for me or not. And I'm doing that with Brandon Sanderson because, like I said, I am entering my fantasy era. So I have a few other books by him now. This is Brandon Sanderson's, I think, like only romantasy book, this is like his only romantasy. I think this is considered a romantasy. She's almost 600 pages. Next book, this is another Brandon Sanderson book that like everybody says is so good. Like if you watch fantasy booktubers on here, more than likely they have talked about how good the series is, and that is the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson, starting with The Way of Kings being the first one. I just heard that this is a super high fantasy, and that's all I know about it. Honestly, that's all I know about it. I heard that it's just really good. Even the people that like talk about it, I feel like they don't really go too into what it's about. They just talk about how good it is. And this one scares me the most because this one is like, it's like 1,007 pages. So this one out of all of them, and the text is not the biggest. So this is gonna take me like a while to read. So I don't think I'm gonna be reading this one anytime soon. When I have extra time, then I'm going to read this, because honestly, this is going to take me at least like 2 weeks to read. I'm not gonna lie, this is a big book. So this is gonna take me at least 2 weeks to like get through the whole thing. And this is just the first book. The books, as the series goes on, I think they just get like bigger and bigger. So there's that one. The next book that I got is Thorn Hedge by T. Kingfisher. Yes, this is another one that's going to go in my is T. Kingfisher worth it, or like worth the hype vlog that I want to do. This is another one that's like really small, super tiny, and I think that this one is about, I think I talked about this one last year. I think this is like Sleeping Beauty, but like retold in like a different way. And I watch a lot of like Riley Marie's videos, and she talked about this one, and she talked about how like T. Kingfisher tends to write like a lot of characters that aren't necessarily like your typical beautiful, young, super young characters. Like these are more like in their 30s, like, you know, like plain Janes. Do you get what I mean? The next book that I got is one that I'm going to be saving for October, because in October I'm going to do another author where I read an author for the first time. It is Olivia Blake, and I want to see if she's worth the hype for me. So I got One for the Enemy, and I don't know what this is about, honestly. It looks beautiful. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. And oh, she has illustrations. Hello. That's so cool. So yeah, so she has illustrations. I think this is a fantasy, or this is a romantasy. I don't know if this is a romantasy or a fantasy, but look at the cover. Okay, this is another one that I don't know, there's something about Olivia Blake that I really like. I don't know if it's just the covers, or it's just like her dark academia-ish vibe that I really enjoy. But she wrote the Atlas 6. I haven't read that one. I have it. I have the first one. I have Masters of Death. Now I have this one. And I also have the Atlas Paradox, book 2 in the Atlas series. And this one too has illustrations. Like how... Hello, dark academia aesthetic here. Oh my gosh! So I love like dark academia vibes. I've never read dark academia books, but that's also going to be another vlog that I do where like reading dark academia for the first time. So obviously that's going to be before I read Olivia Blake's books. And I'm just so excited. I'm so excited. So I got all these. So all in all, I think I got like 20 books. So I just got 30 something books, and now I got 20 more. So that makes 50 books that I got over the course of 2 months. Do I have a problem? Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell to be notified when I post. I post videos twice a week. I have a Goodreads. Please follow me on Goodreads. I have a Booktok, and I have my Amazon wishlist down below as well. So yes, thank you guys so much for watching. And if you have any ideas of what you guys want to watch, any ideas for what kind of books you want, what kind of book videos you want me to do, please let me know down in the description below. And if you guys have read any of these books, please let me know down in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you made it till the end, put a stack of books emoji to let me know that you guys reached the very end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!